what does it really take to break a cycle? To find your voice after years and years of being silent. Well, we're going to dive into a story that answers that question with just two simple but powerful words. No more.
And really, that's the question at the heart of this whole thing. What happens when that silence finally shatters? When the cycle just stops? When one person decides, you know what? Enough is enough. So let's meet the person at the center of it all.
This is Clara, and for her, every single morning is a battle. But the place she dreads the most, it's not a classroom, it's not some big test, it's the school bus. That big yellow bus is her personal world of fear, a place where she feels completely and utterly unsafe.
Now, this didn't just happen overnight. This has been building for years. It started small, way back in second grade, just little petty comments from another girl named Jen. But by fourth grade, Jen had gotten her friends in on it, and the teasing, it became merciless. And now? Well, now Clara has just retreated into herself. Her only real solace is getting lost in the pages of her books.
So, as she gets on the bus, head down, trying to be invisible, the daily ritual begins. It's Jen, of course, with that sarcastic, cutting tone. It's just designed to make her feel as small as possible. And Clara does what she always does. She tries her best to just ignore it and disappear. But today is different. A single word from the back of the bus just cuts through all the noise. Wow. It's a new kid, a senior who just moved into the neighborhood. Jen and her friends, they notice him immediately, but they completely misread his tone. Jen tries to keep going, thinking this new guy is on her side, trying to impress him, but he's not. He calls her out, right there in front of everyone. In this kind of smoky voice, he just asks, "Do you really think that criticizing her about that is funny?" And just like that, for the first time, ever, someone is standing up for Clara. So Jen, she's angry, she's rejected, and she tries to save face by offering him a seat with her little crew, but he just ignores her. He gets up, walks right past them, and sits down in the empty seat right next to Clara. He just looks at her and asks if it's taken. And in that one moment, the entire power dynamic on that bus is just shattered. And this isn't just some fleeting moment either. A real connection starts to form. She learns his name is Randy, that he's got a motorcycle, and he's not exactly thrilled about riding the bus either. When they get to school, he asks her to show him where the office is, and it leads to the single best day Clara has ever had at school. The connection doesn't just end when the bell rings. Nope. Only 30 minutes after she gets home, her phone lights up with a text from Randy. "My bike came, come see it." She rushes over to his house and spends the entire evening in his garage, completely fascinated as he tells her all about his motorcycle. The next morning, just as that dreaded yellow bus is turning the corner, Randy roars up on his bike. He hands her a helmet and just says, "Come on." And as she climbs on, she can feel the eyes of every single person on that bus watching them as they ride away. It's just a moment of pure, absolute freedom. She has another amazing day at school. But that old feeling of dread comes creeping back when Randy, who's a senior, gets to leave after lunch. She has to face that ride home all by herself. And those 2 days of seeing her happy, seeing her with the new guy, well, that envy just boils over. Jen and her friends unleash a vicious verbal assault on the ride home. As she practically runs off the bus in tears, she sees him. Randy is right there waiting. His smile just vanishes the second he sees her face. His eyes, they start to burn with anger. He just tells her, "Wait right here." He jams his boot in the closing bus door, shoves it open, and steps back on board. He looks right at the bullies and unleashes 2 words that change absolutely everything. No more. And his speech, wow, it's a masterclass in how to dismantle a culture of bullying. He doesn't just go after the 3 girls, calling them leeches. He turns to everyone on the bus and accuses them of being complicit, of letting it happen because they were afraid. Then he asks this incredibly powerful question, wouldn't you want someone to stand up for you? And to top it off, he even holds the bus driver accountable for doing nothing. The fallout is immediate. Jen's power is just gone. But putting Clara back together, that's a harder job. Randy helps. First, he explains everything to her mom. And then he gives her a gift. It's an old paperback book about a seagull that learns to fly, a story about breaking free from the limits that other people try to put on you. But the book is just the start. The next day, he tells her, "Now we need to teach you to fly." And it starts with another gift, her very own motorcycle. They spend 3 days in the garage fixing it up together, which is this powerful metaphor for her own healing, right? He teaches her how to ride, and by Friday, she has her license. She has her wings.
The transformation is just absolute. The girl on the bus was withdrawn, she was powerless. But the rider she's become, she's confident, she's in control. It's like night and day.
Before Randy leaves for college that summer, he finally tells her why he helped. And it wasn't out of pity. He looks at her and says, "I saw me in you." See, he'd been through the exact same thing, and the bike was his escape. It was his way of taking back the power to decide who he was. And he knew she could do it too. The next year isn't easy without him there, but she's not the girl from the bus anymore. Not even close. She doesn't just survive, she thrives. And at her graduation, she's asked to give a speech. She walks right up to that podium, the whole school watching. And she starts with 2 familiar words. His words, but now they're hers. No more. Her speech is incredible. She tells her story, she honors Randy, and she explains how his one simple act of courage transformed not just her, but the entire school. And then she challenges them to carry that legacy forward, to make no more a promise to every single student that walks those halls. After the ceremony and a quiet dinner with her mom, she gets home. And waiting for her, sitting on his bike in her driveway, it's Randy. He'd heard her speech. He asks her if she wants to go for a ride. She starts to run inside to change, but then she stops. She turns around, walks right back to him, and kisses him. When they break apart, he's actually blushing, and she just smiles and tells him, "I have been wanting to do that for an awfully long time." This is not the shy girl from the bus. This is a confident woman, his equal, who knows exactly what she wants. And that's how her story ends. She changes into her riding gear, and the two of them, 2 riders, just disappear down the road together. It really leaves you with a final thought, doesn't it? That one person's courage doesn't just change a life, it can rewrite an entire story.